Hello and welcome to Hot Seat. There was one face which was beamed on all the television channels. She was poster girl for Rahul Gandhi's campaign. She was also recognized by people as next door girl who was found on a bike roaming around in Goa. Hasiba Amin, she is NSUI Goa president right now. She is working president for NSUI's Goa unit. Welcome Hasiba. First of all, everyone now asked a question that when you said that we would do such thing when we get elected or Rahul Gandhi becomes hates country, why you all didn't do all things in last 10 years?
I think first of all we need to understand that it's very wrong to declare that nothing has been done in the last 10 years, because if we see, since you're talking about the country, if you see the country what it was 10 years back and what it is today, there has been so much that has happened. There has been so much development. Things have gone from nowhere to such a high. So first of all, it is completely wrong to declare that nothing has been done. At the same time, of course, more could have been done and more should have been done, which definitely is being looked into. It is being considered. There are a lot of there is a system in which things are moving, and we are trying to change the system. We are trying to transform.
You are talking about youths time and again.
Right.
Where were these youths in last 10 years?
The youth have all been, you cannot get youth out of nowhere. It has to come through a system. So the system has been over time developing. You cannot transform the entire process overnight. It takes a while. So if you see, if I'm talking about say Youth Congress or NSUI for that matter. So we introduced initially any student organization, any youth organization of any party, they had a system wherein the leaders would nominate and pick their state presidents or their state units, etc. However, things have been changing. There has been like an internal democracy in NSUI and Youth Congress. So we have an election system now. So members will vote and decide who becomes the
my question is that president. Your entire campaign is focusing around youth.
Right. So what I'm saying is that over this past 10 years, as you say, we have been working on bringing youth into the system. People like me with no political backing. There are so many such people across the country. So these years have been focusing on bringing them into the system, attracting them and encouraging them into the system. And now we are focusing on the development. So it's not an overnight process. We have to pick them and then it comes about.
Yeah. So, the question is that when you talk of Yuva Shakti,
right,
wasn't that Shakti with you in last 10 years that you are promising it now?
No, of course it has always been there. We are not promising a new Yuva Shakti. We are promising a continuance of something of the Yuva Josh which has always been there. My tagline is not Kattar Soch but Yuva Josh. So it's clearly we are saying that don't choose the Kattar Soch, choose the Yuva Josh, which is us.
Example of any Yuva Josh in last 10 years?
Sachin Pilot, Jyoti Aditya Scindia, educated people like Shashi Tharoor. Of course, he's not very Yuva, but Yuva minded, I'll say. Rahul Gandhi, for that matter, who has been encouraging youth into the system through organizational elections and other things. People like me, I can give you so many names in Youth Congress and IYC who are today, like there's Amrita Dhawan, there is Ragini Naik, all these people who are in the system today.
Isn't it a contradiction that on one hand you run a campaign of youth, and on the other hand, you're in Parliament, Congress MPs get up and they create ruckus over Telangana. Many of them are too old to be there.
No, first of all, since you spoke of Telangana, I think you need to mention that they were the ex-MPs because their resignation was done a day before because they created ruckus. So here what I want to point out...
When your campaign was running, they were MPs.
No, what I want to point out is that there are black sheep in every community. We all have to agree that. Be it any party, there will always be people who at some point have created a ruckus, who have created a problem. The difference between Congress and any other party is that Congress has always ensured that action is taken. So there has always been a disciplinary action, there has always been action taken against this kind of behavior. It has never gone unnoticed. So, that is the whole point. It's that if you do something wrong, we make sure that we do justice to it.
Okay, you mean to say other parties don't have Yuva Shakti in them?
I mean to see, when I speak of Yuva Shakti, like I said, Congress is the only party which picks this Yuva Shakti in a very democratic fashion. So we don't have a system where there is nomination, where our leaders decide who is going to be the, who's going to lead a state or who's going to be the youth face of the state. It is a system wherein the members vote. So it's a very democratic and open process where we give a platform and we give a way for a political person, for an educated young person who is interested in the system, for a person who probably has no political backing or has no, a political godfather, so to say. So we've created an open platform where such people can come up in the system.
Okay, when actually, so before we debate on this issue, tell me what exactly is the age for anyone to call himself as youth?
I'm from the NSUI, so I'll talk more NSUI specific.
No,
so we have
overall, if you want to consider someone as
up
youth,
to 35, 18 to 35.
And Rahul Gandhi is still a youth.
See, he's a person who is he is the vice president of the All India Congress Committee, right? He is a person who has brought in the youth, who has encouraged the youth. He may not be a very, so to say, 35-year-old person himself, but he is a person who has ensured that there is youth representation in politics. There is youth, voice heard in politics. Like, I'll give you a small example. Like Chintan Shivir. Chintan Shivir is a Congress Baitak which happens every 10 years. So in every 10 years, the entire Congress comes together and we have a brainstorming sessions on relevant topics, which happened last year in January at Jaipur. So this happens every 10 years. Prior to these, like the 10 years before this, so prior to this last Chintan Shivir, there was only 2 youth representation, which was the IYC president, All India president, and the NSUI president. If you see last year what has happened, it is that things over these last 10 years have changed so much that youth representation has gone up to, it was out of 300, 150, nearly 150 were youth. So we had a 50% representation in the brainstorming session. So these are things which has been brought in by him, which is why we look, as a young person, we look up to him for giving us that platform.
Okay, if I look it from the other side,
right,
that means that Manmohan Singh, other Congress leaders never brought these things in the Congress.
It has always been there, but it has happened very aggressively because he has constantly pushed for it. So probably in the past there were people, there was always a youth congress. It's been there since 1971. There was always a NSUI, but this aggressive representation and ensuring that voice is heard so aggressively has happened now. Yes.
Thanks to Rahul Gandhi.
More.
Okay, let's come to local politics.
Yeah, please.
Your face on television, and you got fame, and you also got defamed.
Right.
You are associated with drug nexus. You are associated with PWD scam.
Right.
How much of it is true?
None of it is true, first of all, because I am not, there were allegations on me of being involved in a scam. I'm absolutely not involved in. I think I should mention that I've been a state president since 2012. When code of conduct was on, immediately BJP government came into power, and that's how I've been state president. Before that, I was not even in the scene anywhere. So it's impossible, even if you look at it like that, it's impossible for me to be involved. I have not been involved in any drug nexus. I mean, of course, there would have, if people who are speaking of it would have some documentary evidence. There is absolutely no FIR on me. There is no complaint on me. There were allegations that I've been to jail and back. I have never been to jail in my life. There were other things which were linking me with ministers and all, which is absolutely false.
No, there was one perception that you were supported by Valankal.
Right.
That's how you came into NSUI.
Right.
That's how you got elected.
Right.
Isn't that a link enough to link yourself to those people who are actually accused of corruption?
No, absolutely not. See, back in 2012, when I decided, when I was doing memberships rather for NSUI, I still stand by it. Like we're speaking of Alanka Alima, she had guided me, in that process, and she had sort of identified my potential, and she had insisted that I contest elections at a point of time when I myself was skeptical of my own potential.
She was your mentor.
She had guided me. She had sort of pushed me to contest elections at that point, because she saw that I had some potential in me, and she said, you can make a good leader. Why don't you go for it? And at that point of time, I myself was skeptical about it. So I, of course, owe a chunk of my success, a major chunk of my success rather, to her. But at the same time, I have college mates and friends who are from the BJP. My local MLA, Lau Mamledar's daughter, is a very good friend of mine. I have friends, I have other friends inside the Congress party. I have friends from across India. Anything that they do, I don't think me being friends with them is necessarily a reason to drag me into somebody else's mistakes.
You admit that during initial stage of your NSUI presidentship, you committed some mistakes.
See,
you addressed press conferences against the vice president.
So I wanted to come to that. I'm glad you're bringing that up. as state president, it will always be my responsibility till I'm holding the post, that if I have reasons to believe that organizational code of conduct has been broken for whatever reason, if I have reasons to believe, it is my duty as state president to notify to the national team. I have no rights to remove somebody or suspend somebody or expel somebody in the state committee, being the state president. That is up to the national committee. If I don't notify them, that is very wrong on my part of the happenings here. So what I have done is I have done my duty of notifying the national team, of notifying, making it public that see, this letter has gone. The national team constituted an inquiry committee. They constituted an inquiry. They went through the entire, they inquired the entire process. There was a show cause notice sent to the vice president. All of that happened. They had reasons to believe that his acts were justified. So he was not removed from the organization. He's still a part of the organization. I respected their decision, after which me and my vice president have always worked hand in hand. So that has never really been a problem.
Media with it,
right.
Wasn't it a mistake?
See, before I went to media with the letter, what happened is on the papers, when there was this breaking of code of conduct that I'm talking about, organizational code of conduct, the papers highlighted it as NSUI, as an NSUI thing. So NSUI is doing so and so. That's how it was appearing. So it was necessary that I clear the air in the media and say that see, NSUI has nothing to do with it. This has been happening on, on a personal level, and I had to back off. I had to remove NSUI's name from the entire thing. So it was necessary as state president for me to do that. So I was just doing my duty.
You spoke about its suspension.
Right. So I spoke about the letter that I have sent. I spoke about what I have asked for. I spoke about the reasons that I believe, why, where the points, the sections where the code of conduct has been broken. And I produced the letter, made it public, and that this letter is going to the High Command, and this is what I've sent across.
So you believe that it was not a mistake on your part?
I don't think so. I was playing my duty. See, sometimes as a state president, you have to take tough decisions which you may not agree with, but you have to do it. So I was just doing my duty.
What's your reaction that so many of your then ministers were accused of scams, were accused of, forget about PWD scam, that is one of the scams, but a major scam was drug scam.
See, I very strongly believe, whether it is in Goa, whether it is otherwise, if somebody has been accused of a scam, of a corruption, of doing something wrong which shouldn't have been done, let law take its course, and if he is found guilty, he should be punished, and he should not remain a part of the. See, the party does not promote. The party does not promote any of this. The party has a different ideology. So if somebody is breaking the ideology of the party, or if somebody is going against the ideology of the party, which is even corruption for that matter, the person has to be punished and disciplinary action has to be taken.
So wasn't your vice president doing the job of your party?
See, we have, I understand what you're trying to say, and I agree that perhaps what he did was right or wrong. I mean, I cannot judge it, but at a personal level, I can say that, it may have been right, it may have been wrong, but when you're in an organization, there is a certain way you have to follow. So there was a way he had to follow it. His act was not what was wrong, but the way he did it was wrong. So the organization appreciates people who do, the party appreciates people who have the, who speak up when there is something wrong happening, who see there is something wrong happening and who speak up. So that is something which is appreciated, but then the mechanism in which it happens has to be different. So that is what was
He was given a clean sheet by the party.
He was, his acts were considered justifiable, yes.
So do you support him now at least?
I respect the decision of the party. I respect the decision of my leaders, of our national president, of our national committee. I have always worked with him. We've given press conferences together. We are, at the end of the day, we are all part of the same organization. We are all part of the same party. We are working towards a common good. We are working towards a common goal. So there's nothing wrong in working together.
That some guy from your organization had guts and go against his own party man just to protect the ideology of the party.
I will always, it's not just about one person, I will always appreciate people. I believe in it. I will always appreciate people who speak against wrong. So that is something which anyone who speaks against wrong will always has my salute. So.
Okay, when we talk about this youth in Congress,
right?
Are you happy with the way youth is being treated in Congress?
Honestly speaking, I think the way youth is being treated in Congress is something which deserves extreme appreciation, because like I said, there's no other party which gives you this kind of a platform, which gives you so much support, which encourages you so much for to be a, like you said, a next door girl, and to be a national secretary in charge of 2 states and handling social media. And
that's an exception only.
It's no, there is see, that's an exception. That's what you're saying because you're seeing Goa. If you see across India, the number of people, we have a committee of nearly 70 people. We have 4 people now who have been newly appointed. We have 4 people who have been promoted to general secretaries. Every year we have committees which are being reshuffled. We have this happening in in NSUI also. We are having this happening in Youth Congress also. At the age of 23, at the age of 20, I have a colleague who's 22 from Manipur. So at the age, at such young ages, if they are giving us a platform to make it so big, we are personally meeting national, like, central leaders every 3 months. We have whatever issues come up, like state issues and stuff come up, we can take it up, and we have so much mechanism. These are things which I don't think any other party has given. So I think
youths were given ticket by Congress during assembly elections.
You're talking about Goa in particular, right?
And majority of them lost.
See, I think first of all, talking about assembly elections, I think I was too early in my career to talk about it. Secondly, since my whole perception of the entire elections was there was a major anti-incumbency factor which had set in. There was this whole perceptive anti-Congress perception building which had happened during the assembly elections, which affected everybody. So it's a fact. It affected everybody. So it's a fact, and it has to be dealt with.
Why couldn't youths protect their own constituencies?
Because, like I said, if there is a wave going on, if there is an anti-incumbency factor going on, we all did our best. We all did what we could do. But I think politics, or be it the party, I think we need to look beyond merely elections. So it's not only about winning or losing elections. There is a lot more in a party. It's a platform. It's a leadership building. There is so much more that the party gives to you. It's not only about fighting elections or losing elections. We are working on changing the system. We are trying to make the system more open, more transparent. We are having mechanisms which are building on it, which are working towards it. These are not things which will happen overnight. It will probably take time. It will probably take people time to understand what we are trying to do. But that's okay.
Let's be very practical.
Right.
All these are
no, these are facts.
No,
these are facts. If you see in Goa, this has actually happened. Like with the entire transformation system, like I said, people like me, or there are so many other people who've entered the system today. So these sort of platforms is what is openness and transparency that has always been spoken about. That is changing of the system.
We will compare Youth Congress to earlier Youth Congress to Youth Congress now. Earlier Youth Congress was on street. Earlier NSUI was a major part of the Youth Congress, helping them out to protest against government, protest against wrong policy. These days we don't
see. I think we need to understand that politics, and we need to understand that activism, not just politics. Let's put it as activism has transformed over time. It's not the same today. In a state like Goa, it has transformed. Being from NSUI, I'll speak majorly about NSUI. So. There was a point of time where coming to the streets was perhaps mandatory at some point. Today we have reached a stage where we have social media activism, where we have we have a more easy access to the leaders, where we can go up to them. And I'll tell you, in my 2 years, we have been actually able to do so many things without having to come on the streets. So why create public, why create trouble to public when you can do it in a peaceful manner? Like the counselling cells issue. We had signature campaigns which were run peacefully, signature campaigns which happened inside colleges, which happened online. There were signature campaigns from throughout, people talking about it, tens of thousands of signatures collected. We approached the Vice Chancellor with it, the CM with it, the Director of Education, the Director of Technical Education with it. In the budget session, it was declared that for primary and higher secondary schools, counselling cells and yoga classes, which we were demanding, stress management classes, would be provided. So a budget allocation was done. So it happened peacefully. Why come on the streets? The transportation issue, for that matter, the whole bus issue that was going on. So a particular organization came on the streets. The next day we realized that, of course we had it on our agenda somewhere, but when we realized that okay, we need to address it immediately, it cannot just be on our agenda for 2-3 days later or 4-5 days later. So when we went to the director of transport, he told us that why haven't you all come to, why didn't you all, he thought we were the ones who had gone in the streets. So he directly said that you all have missed step 1, you all have directly gone to step 2, you all should have come to me, we would have addressed the issue, you all didn't have to go on the streets directly. So the issue was settled, yes, at that point of time.
Right now you think that students are not facing problem to get 50% concession?
See, the fact of the matter is, very practically, implementation takes a little time. So I think we should give them, we should cut some slack on the director of transport or the entire department on the fact that implementation is taking a little time. But the fact of the matter is that things have changed, and this I have personally observed.
Implementation. If I go, this was in the process of implementation.
No, but I'm talking about, like you're talking about problem being solved after we addressed it. So after we addressed it, it is a fact that things have changed. I have personally witnessed it. I've spoken to a number of students and personally witnessed it. If you go to buses now, things are different. The conductors are more lenient, and things like that. Of course, the problem still prevails. I won't say it's 100% gone, but you cannot. But that is a problem of implementation, which will come over time. Of course, we'll push for it also. If that's
social media campaign,
right,
social media activity.
Right.
We saw you people. We saw people, defaming you completely on social media.
Right.
So social media is good or bad?
I have said this before also. A knife, right? A knife can kill a person also. A knife can cut an apple also. So it's not the knife you blame. It's the people, how people use it, that you blame. So I think social media is a similar thing. It is an open platform. It is democratization of information, democratization of ideas. It's a beautiful open platform where I, without fear, can go and write whatever I actually feel. And so can you, and so can anybody else, and anyone can see it. So this is something which social media has given us. How we use it, whether we use it responsibly or irresponsibly, that is our, I think, responsibility. And if there is such a problem that arises, the problem is not with social media. The problem is with our mindsets. So the day our mindsets change, the day we start, respecting people, the day we start addressing an issue as an issue and not as a personality, things are going to change automatically.
Things were addressed in your context as a personality.
Yeah, I think factors like my religion, my gender, my things like that were being spoken about. There was no ideological debate. No one was talking about okay. I was okay with people telling me that you are talking about Kattar soch nahi hua josh. We have a problem with that because we believe so and so, and you believe so and so, and this is good for our country, that is bad for our country. I was okay and open to that kind of a debate. Always open to criticism, but
on same line after this, whatever is feedback you got from the social media,
right?
You have not changed the tone of your campaign. So what's the use of someone telling you I
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You didn't get me. So what I'm saying is I was open to that kind of criticism, but the criticism I got was not that kind of criticism. The criticism I got was people defaming me, people telling me that you're this, you're that, calling me bad words, talking about spoiling the name of a girl. Basically, this is what happens in a society. That is what happened on social media. So what I'm trying to say is problem doesn't lie with social media, problem is lying with our mindsets. Ideological debates are acceptable, but that did not happen at all. There was probably 1% of ideological debate which I also encountered and which I also responded to when we had our discussions and deliberations, and that settled down. But 99.9 probably % of the entire thing was you are this, you are that, you are a corruption ki queen, and I was like, what have I done? So it was all those kind of things.
The picture with Shashi Tharoor was also
right. So since you brought it up, I'll clarify that. Somewhere around May, we had Shashi Tharoor ji and Pallam Raju ji were down. They are both the HRD minister and the MOS HRD. They were down in Goa for a medical conference at Marriott. So at that point of time, there were a few chunk of issues. We thought we can go and meet them and talk about it. So one major issue rather. So we went up to them and we said that this is a issue that Goa is facing. How can we address it? Because they are seniors and they are HRD ministers and all of that. So that's how we had got up to them. But this was picked out of context and in really defamatory manner. It was circulated across social media.
Is it also because there is certain kind of jealousy within NSUI that why is that Hasiba is only being shown on television?
No, I don't think so. I think, in fact, when this whole thing started, I volunteered to be a part of the campaign. So could anyone else volunteer? So I don't. It was a campaign which anyone could have been a part of. It's not that I was picked out of a lot or something like that, or it was something which I chose on myself. So
okay, very straight question. Do you think that congressmen in Goa are not corrupt? Because your campaign starts with non-corruption, all sort of things, and Rahul Gandhi these days have also been talking about non-corrupt practices.
Right. See, I think I'm no one to decide whether Congress leaders or any leader for that matter is corrupt or not. It is for the judiciary to decide. So let proceedings let the judiciary and law take its course of action and let them decide. Because I am a nobody. I can. What does my saying? How does my saying make somebody corrupt or non-corrupt?
You are right now face of Congress on television everywhere. You are saying vote for Congress.
I am saying, yeah, so what I say is that let the law take its course of action. If somebody is corrupt, they don't deserve to be in the party, in politics, they don't deserve to be here. If they obviously action has to be taken against them, whether it's within the party or outside the party, disciplinary action, legal action, all of that has to be taken against them. If they are proven to be corrupt, because I'll tell you honestly, I have faced this. People were telling me that I'm corruption ki queen and I've been in a 300 crore scam because of social media. This was picked by mainstream media. So many people, probably 1,000 people even believe it today that I've actually been in a 300 crore scam.
You're talking about those who are actually in power who could
so I'm saying,
give tenders.
So what I'm saying is that if with personal experience, what I'm saying is that if such things are happening where people are saying these things and people are believing these things, it could be the same case with somebody else. So I am nobody to judge because I have not gone through the logistics or the legalities of the entire scams that we are talking about.
During Congress rule or not? Because you were there in Goa when Congress was ruling.
Right. So again, like I said, the law should take its course of action.
I am asking you a very straight question.
Neither have I gone to appear to take any tender, nor have I've been a normal college student.
Any tender.
No, I'm saying personally, I have been a normal college student doing my in my day-to-day life, so I really wouldn't know.
So youths were Youths were at least not affected with
No, I don't think so. I was pretty okay. I used to take my bike, go to college, come back.
It's not you were part of the society.
I was exactly. Yes. So as a part of the society, you're asking me a personal question. I was not holding
you're not
nothing. Personally, I have not been okay.
Last question because we are running short of the time. Do you think that youth should be given representations in Goa as far as Lok Sabha ticket is concerned?
Yes, I think youth representation is a must. It is very important since we are talking of transformation of the system. Youth have to become educated, young people who think differently, who are not your contemporary, political minded people need to come into the system. I also urge the youth, I also urge the neutral youth to enter the system, because sitting back at home and saying he's not doing his job, they should come in the system. Yes.
My question
is I said yes. I said that. So I was giving an explanation to it. So yes.
So which?
So in ticket, that I am nobody to decide again. That is in the high command. I think across the country this is a must. Youth representation has to increase. In Goa also, yes.
One ticket at least for youth.
Has to be. Yeah.
And youth should not be like 50s.
Of course, youth is not 50s, and we all know that. Even inside the party, we all know that.
This was Hasiba Amin, a working president of NSUI Goa unit. She is also secretary of NSUI at national level. She says that whatever has been projected about her in social media and also in national media, that she was a part of a major PWD scam or she was part of a drug scam, is all hoax. There is nothing like that, and she never went to jail as it is being shown on the national media. Also, she says she has no differences with Sunil Kautankar, Vice President of NSUI, who had taken head-on against the Congress ministers then and against the corruption as such. Hasiba Amin also feels that youth should be given ticket, at least one ticket in Goa as far as Lok Sabha is concerned. It's a pleasure having you on our show. You're watching Hot Seat. This is a one interview series where we make people speak something which they have never said in past. Keep watching HCN.